was recently taken in by a number that appeared on a panel discussion about displaced people in the world, and that number is actually 60 million people. So there are essentially 60 million people in the world that are fleeing, their homes, or are internally displaced, or are just, left without any real stable conditions within which to live. I don't have to go into the whole thing, and I'm sure I can't explain the whole thing, but a lot of these refugees are coming from the Middle East and going into Europe, and there they face other challenges like integration and economic stability, security concerns on the European side, and it's happening in Canada as well. We are accepting Syrian refugees, etc., etc. So of those 60 million, a large portion of it is actually coming from the top creator of displaced people, and that's the civil unrest in Syria, or the civil war, basically. Now, I'm trying to make a video without saying too much, because I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert, and I know exactly why what's going on is going on. But I would like to say that I think it's kind of simplistic on my part to say that a lot of the tensions that happen in Syria and its civil unrest is due to sectarian tensions. So it's simplistic to say that, because it lacks any real insight when it comes to what the ruling regime, the Assad regime, claims to be a secular government. But I'm sure there's disagreements over how secular it actually is. But I think there is a large part of it, especially considering that there's multiple insurgency groups, including of which one is ISIS, that rely on a heavy leaning, or a very conservative view of Islam in terms of their narrative and what they're fighting for, and how they think territory, and even maybe just other groups in Syria, how they feel the country itself should be run and governed. So saying that, I also think that it's important to understand the underlying reasons of sectarian violence, and I mean the term just basically explains what the underlying cause is, and it would be some sort of religious belief system that informs what they're doing and kind of justifies what they're doing as well. So is it to say that just suddenly removing religion is going to solve the war? I don't think so, because number one, it's kind of a half and half thing to say. I think removing religion and religious ideology from tensions that result in war will obviously ease tensions and ease sectarian tensions between groups and among groups, etc. But it's also not something that can actually happen. People, I keep saying this over and over again, and I think I pulled it from Majid Nawaz, but people don't apostatize overnight, and the war is going to be protracted, because it takes a long time for changes to come about based on what people believe as religious beliefs. So I'm not saying that I know what the causes are. I mean, there's other causes such as drought, horrid conditions during the winter. So I mean, there's a plethora of causes, and I'm sure there always is, or there always are. But sectarian tensions, I think, is probably a major element in that conflict. And I think removing that sort of that understanding of conservative or fundamentalist Islam would be quite helpful in resolving some of the tensions. Anyway, that's my video. I will talk to you later. Bye.